Welcome everybody to match 2 for my Digimon TCG Organised play videos, and in match 2, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately I have been pitted up in another mirror match. So yes, that is my BT12 WarGreymon deck going up against another BT12 WarGreymon deck, and kicking things off, my opponent is going first. So they've hatched the Koromon, Digivolved it into Agumon, and then Digivolved the Agumon into an EX1 Greymon. Interesting. So I've done the same, gone into an Agumon, and then X Digivolved into Agumon X. And now just cycling through my hand, I'll then play a tie for 3. Passing the turn over to my opponent on 1 memory. So for 0, my opponent's just gone into the BT9 Greymon X. So once again, my opponent's just cycling through their hand, just coming up with a viable strategy. So they have played their Memory Tamer tie for the cost of 4. And now it's my turn on 3 memory, so I'll raise my Agumon X. And then for the cost of 2, ladies and gentlemen, I shall Digivolve it into the Security +1 attack inherited ability Greymon, because I can't remember which set that one actually came from. I do apologize in advance. And then for the cost of 0, I will then X Digivolve it into the BT11 Greymon X, and then I will suspend the tie whenever I Digivolve into a Greymon. I can suspend the tamer and regain a memory. Then I play the Cool Boy Tamer and chosen the Agumon X. And then for the reduced cost of 2, ladies and gentlemen, I'll then go into my BT12 Metal Greymon. So now it's my opponent's turn on 3 because of their Memory Tamer tie. And the additional ability of the red Memory Tamer tie, ladies and gentlemen, is that it grants an additional security attack to their Digimon for every I can't remember the ability off the top of my head, but I do believe it's every 4 Digimon underneath. And after playing their BT5 Agumon, they have just played their BT11 Yuya Memory Tamer. So I've just gone into a BT12 Agumon and then Agumon X in my raising area, ladies and gentlemen. Trigger the ability of tie, granting my Metal Greymon an extra 1k DP and the blocker ability. So for the cost of 1, I'll then go into my Metal Greymon X. Then I'll place the X antibody option underneath. And then after I Digivolved into Metal Greymon, I use the Cool Boy to regain the memory and draw an additional card. Just reorganizing my Digimon stack. And then thanks to the additional ability of my Metal Greymon X, I am able to destroy his BT5 Agumon that's currently on the field. And with 4 memory to spare, I am just currently going through my hand, strategizing on what to do next, ladies and gentlemen. And then I will go into my BT12 WarGreymon, suspending the BT12 tie tamer and to regain a memory because I Digivolved into the new Greymon or WarGreymon. And then for the cost of 1, I'll go into WarGreymon X. And thanks to the additional ability of my WarGreymon X, ladies and gentlemen, every time a card is removed from my opponent's security stack, I regain an additional memory. So now I have another 2 to mess around with. So for the cost of 2, I'll then go into Greymon and then X Digivolve that into Greymon X, the BT9 version. Where was this combo played during my match 1? And then to end my turn, ladies and gentlemen, I'll just hard drop the BT12 Agumon. So we got Alteris mode, BT12 Agumon, the X antibody option. Then and the Metal Greymon, so I'll choose the Metal Greymon. And then during my opponent's turn, since my WarGreymon had the additional ability of Reboot, the inherited ability of my BT11 Metal Greymon X kicked in, and then I was able to trash the top card of my opponent's security stack. So now it's my opponent's turn. And I'm also explaining that if one of my opponent's Digimon should unsuspend during their turn, the inherited ability of my Metal Greymon X from BT11 activates as well. Of course, if anybody is new to my channel, ladies and gentlemen, I hereby welcome you. And if you do like what you see, please do myself a favor. Please consider hitting the subscribe button down below, along with the bell, so you can receive notifications when new content has been released on my channel. And whoever does consider hitting the button down below, you truly are a legendary individual, and it also helps my channel expand little by little every time you do hit the button down below. And it also helps the YouTube algorithm help promote my content every time I've uploaded something new. And I just want to apologize in advance if you do hear me hesitating, stuttering, and struggling with any of my sentences, ladies and gentlemen. Me being an autistic individual, talking is not one of my strongest points, but I do try anyway. So now my opponent is just strategizing on what to do next. And it looks like my opponent is struggling to come up with any sort of place. And that is a scoop for round one, ladies and gentlemen. So now it's time to move on to round two. Let's see if I can actually keep up the momentum. And my opponent is opted to go first, so they've hatched the Coromon and then Digivolve there straight into an Agumon. So what are they going to do next? So they're going to just hard drop the BT5 Agumon. So they've hit a Greymon, a Hades Force, and the BT1 Altered WarGreymon. And their chosen target is the WarGreymon. Interesting that they're running that in their deck. So now it's my turn. I'm going to hatch Coromon and then Digivolve it straight into the BT12 Agumon. Draw me an additional card. And then I'm going to hard play another BT12 Agumon. So I got a Taikamiya, BT12 Greymon, Metal Greymon X, and Omnimon. So I can through my hand, see what plays I can actually do. So I'm going to choose the Memory Tamer Tai and the BT12 Greymon. The Omnimon and Metal Greymon X go to the bottom of my deck. And then I'm just going to hard play the red memory boot. No, I changed my mind. I'm going to take that. I was going to play the red memory boost. I'm just going to play my memory tamer tie, passing the turn over to my opponent. So my opponent is then going to X Digivolve into Agumon X, WarGreymon, Metal Greymon, and Greymon. And my opponent is going to choose from those three. Will it be the Sec +1 Greymon, the new BT12 Metal Greymon, or the new BT12 WarGreymon? After careful consideration, grinding the gears. So my opponent is going for the Sec +1 Greymon. So the WarGreymon and the Metal Greymon go to the bottom of my opponent's deck. And then they're going to swing at my security with Agumon X, Metal Greymon Alteris mode. Then they're going to Digivolve their Agumon into Greymon for the cost of 2 memory. And then they're going to play their memory tamer type for the cost of 4. Then now it's my turn, so I'll raise up my Agumon from the raising area, ladies and gentlemen. Then for the cost of 2, I'll Digivolve the no Digivolution cards Agumon into the BT12 Greymon. However, I am unable to trigger the ability of the Greymon because I already have a Taikamiya in play. Oh, excuse me. And then for the cost of 0, I'll X Digivolve into the BT9 Greymon X, the BT9 version. And cycling through my hand again. You know what, I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to hit security with Agumon, and I hit the Greymon. Then swing into security again, and I hit their BT12 Tide Tamer. And then I'll just hard play another BT12 Agumon, Agumon X, Agumon X, Agumon X, Taikamiya, and a normal Agumon. And my only target was the Taikamiya, ladies and gentlemen. Oh boy. So now it's my opponent's turn on 3. Thanks to the red Taikamiya Tamer. So they've raised up the Greymon that they've had in the raising area, ladies and gentlemen. And then for the cost of 3, my opponent has just Digivolved into the new BT12 Metal Greymon. And they just use the ability of the new BT12 Taikamiya. Since my opponent Digivolved the Greymon into a Metal Greymon, since he had Greymon in his name, my opponent is able to suspend the BT12 Taikamiya to regain an additional memory. Looks like my opponent's just debating on whether to initiate their attack, whether that be into my Greymon or swing into my security. Nobody knows, I say. So they're just going to swing into my Greymon. Leave my stuff alone! Looks like extra DP boost from the inherited abilities. And looks like my opponent is just going to Digivolve the Metal Greymon into the BT12 WarGreymon. Interesting. So it's my turn. And I'm really struggling right about now, ladies and gentlemen. So I'll hatch Koromon and then Digivolve it straight into an Agumon. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have the BT12 tie in place, so I'm unable to trigger that ability to regain memory every time I would Digivolve into a Greymon. So for the cost of 2, I'll Digivolve the Agumon that I hard played into the BT12 Greymon. Now I'm just debating on what to do because their WarGreymon has Raid as well. Plus with the inherited ability of the BT12 Metal Greymon, if he were to swing into my Digimon, then he would gain the piercing ability, which means my opponent can still deal damage to my security, even though they just dealt damage, destroyed one of my Digimon, due to the raid ability. Yeah, I just remind my opponent. I'll just double check with my opponent how many security checks they've conducted. So it's gone down to 2 memory from my opponent. So they'll Digivolve the Koromon into Agumon X, and then Digivolve their Agumon X into the BT12 Greymon, and then I'll just hard play the Agumon X from their hand. And their chosen target was the BT11 WarGreymon X antibody, and I'll just hard play the red memory boost. Greymon, WarGreymon X, Agumon, and Greymon X. I don't think it really matters this much at this point, ladies and gentlemen, because my opponent is probably just going to swing at me and end the game. So for 0 cost, they've just gone into the BT11 Greymon X. Swing at me for the last of round 2, and now it is on to the third and final round for match 2, ladies and gentlemen. And I have opted to go first, so I'll hatch Coromon and then Digivolve it into an Agumon. And then I'll hard play the red memory boost from my hand. So it's a Greymon, Metal Greymon X, WarGreymon, and the WarGreymon X. My chosen target will be the BT11 Metal Greymon X. The other 3 cards will go to the bottom of my deck. So now it's my opponent's turn on 3. So they've hatched the Coromon and Digivolved it into the BT12 Agumon. And then they'll hard play the BT12 Agumon they had from their hand. So it's an Agumon, Agumon X. And fortunately, ladies and gentlemen, that is what we call a gigantic and utter whiff. Because they did not draw into these designated targets. So they'll just X Digivolve the Agumon into Agumon X. The Tai and the Yuya go to the bottom of their deck. So now it's my turn. On 3, because my opponent wasn't able to do anything, so they hard pass, so I'll raise the Agumon, and then for the cost of 2, I'll Digivolve it straight into the Sec +1 Inheriting Greymon. I'll cash in the memory boost to give me an extra 2 memory. Then for 3, I got no other choice. I'll go straight into Metal Greymon Alteris mode, and then for go into the Metal Greymon X, because Metal Greymon Alteris mode also counts as Metal Greymon. And thankfully, since I did have that in my Digivolution cards, I'm able to pop his Agumon X. And then I'll place the X antibody option underneath the Metal Greymon X. So I can start doing my combo plays. Decisions, 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 ladies and gentlemen. I say so many decisions, so I'll just play the BT12 Tai Tamer from my hand, passing the turn over to my opponent. Oh, that hard playing the BT12 Greymon like that from their hand does not bode well for them, ladies and gentlemen. Does not bode well at all. So I'll hatch a Coromon in my racing area and then Digivolve it into the BT12 Agumon. Cycling through my hand. And then for the cost of 3, ladies and gentlemen, I'll then Digivolve Metal Greymon X into the altered card version of the BT12 WarGreymon. Then I'll trigger the raid ability, attacking his Metal Greymon. And then I'll X Digivolve Agumon in the raising area. Then I'll hard play the Agumon, the BT12 Agumon from my hand. Greymon, a Tai, a Metal Greymon X, and the Cool Boy Tamer. And then pass it over to my opponent's turn. And thanks in part to the inherited ability of my Metal Greymon X, I'm able to trash the top card of my opponent's security. And then for the cost of 2, I'll then Digivolve Agumon into Greymon. And then I'll swing at my opponent's security, hitting their memory tamer tie. Security with my Greymon. And then with the WarGreymon, I hit their X antibody. Just debating, do I go evil funny or do I just go normal aggro funny? Actually, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go... Oh, such a tough decision, this one. It's a choice between evil funny or normal aggro funny, I say. You know what? I'm going to go for normal aggro funny. I'm not feeling that evil right now. And plus, I wanted to try and X Digivolve WarGreymon into WarGreymon X. So my opponents raised the Agumon in their raising area, and then Digivolved it into the BT12 Greymon. Using the effect of the BT12 tie, regaining extra memory because they Digivolved it into a Greymon. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, I just seem to be yawning quite a bit lately. So what is my opponent going to be doing now, I wonder? They're down to their last security. They've only got 2, maybe 3 memory to work with. So many decisions, I say, ladies and gentlemen. So many decisions. They're going to place the X antibody option underneath. Oh, so they're going to go straight into the BT9 Metal Greymon X. And they are going to destroy my WarGreymon. Cheeky. So I'll hatch Gormon and then Digivolve it into an Agumon. Then I'll X Digivolve Agumon into Agumon X. No abilities trigger whilst in the raising area. And then for 2, I'll go into BT12 Greymon, and then at 0, I'll go into the BT9 Greymon X. Greymon X, swing at their security. It dies, but doesn't really matter. Then I'll swing at my opponent for game with the fist bump for show respect with Metal Greymon, and that brings match 2 for a 2-1 victory to me, ladies and gentlemen. I really do hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please do myself a favor. Please consider hitting the subscribe button down below, along with the bell, so you can receive notifications for when new content is released onto my channel. So join me for the 3rd match, ladies and gentlemen, to where I can hopefully keep up the momentum. So stay safe out there, take care, catch you all next time. Bye bye.